China has been for a long time an advocate of multilateral institutions and continues to participate actively in them. China's foreign policy approach and its general approach to transnational relationships focuses on creating institutions in which diverse parties can come together in the hopes of identifying common objectives and agreeing on strategies that they can pursue together. The G20, as we know, represents the largest economies in the world and has, over the course of its existence, performed an important economic policy coordination function. The problem, though, is that in recent times, its ability to perform those economic policy coordination functions has been undermined by the overdetermination of economic coordination and collaboration by geopolitical considerations. I think that the expectations of the G20 being able to tackle some of the major economic challenges of the day at a global scale will be quite modest. Unfortunately, the United States has in some regards become quite disengaged from tackling global issues at a global level, but has sought to reframe the relationships between nations as geopolitical contests. But I think one of the important things about bodies like the G20 is that at least they bring the leaders together, where they have to interact with each other and where there are opportunities, sometimes on the sidelines, for issues to be canvassed away from the spotlight and where new understandings can be arrived at. It is always better for parties to be able to have channels of communications open and for leaders to at least be able to talk, and the G20 continues to be a forum in which that can take place. So I think even if the expectations as far as the G20 being able to pull together a substantive transnational series of initiatives to tackle global economic coordination post-pandemic, to continue tackling the green transition or the climate-related policies, and the other issues, in fact, that President Lula, the host of this year's G20, has put on the table, I think that we will see at least fruitful dialogues and channels of communications open, and that's a good thing. The United States has become much more insular as a nation as far as the way in which it's framing its priorities and how it thinks the world should be. The ability to deal with creating the trading institutions that will support continual expansion of global trade and the expansion of fair trade for developing nations has really been hampered over the last 5 or 6 years. Put plainly, attempts to stymie China's trade relationships with the world and to contain China's economic development insofar as it involves trading with the world via the imposition of tariffs is not going to have any meaningful long-term impact on the Chinese economy or the trajectory of that economic system. So the main loser in this process, unfortunately, will be American households and American businesses who depend upon low-cost imports for their standard of living, as well as for factor inputs or intermediate goods inputs into their own production and service systems. But that's where I think things are heading at the moment.